Welcome back to McPhee Ford. Today I'm taking a look at this pre-owned 2022 Ford Mustang Mach-E. This particular Mach-E is a GT model finished in shadow black. The GT is the highest performance version of the Mach-E, which is a fully electric SUV. In fact, it was Ford's very first fully electric vehicle. And again, the GT is the highest performance version. In fact, it's actually one of Ford's fastest vehicles they make. We're going to take a quick walk around the outside of this particular Mach-E. This one here is in pristine condition. It's a 2022 model. It has about 3,000 kilometers on it. But we'll take a quick walk around the outside of this particular Mach-E GT. We do have these full LED headlights, which does include the sequential turn signal when they are on. We also do have the front parking sensors that do run along the bottom of the bumper. Now the bumper is completely unique to the GT model. It's fully redesigned for the GT. We also do have a light up pony logo there in the middle. We also have a little different aero features here. We see you have a little bit of a pass through onto the side here to provide extra aerodynamics. But if we come around to the side, also unique to the GT model, we do have these 20-inch sort of machined aluminum wheels that is wrapped in a 245/45 Pirelli Performance tire. And the GT also includes the 6-piston Brembo brake system. Absolutely massive brakes, definitely provides very sufficient braking power. The mirrors here are included with the turn signal. They're power folding, of course, fully power operated, and they do include the blind spot monitoring indicator in the corner. If we kind of move on to the back end here, we do have the sequential LED taillights. Just like the front, they do indicate in the sequential pattern. We also do have rear parking sensors that do run along the bottom of the bumper there. We also have the rear view camera, and there's your GT badge there. And if we take a look at the interior, now the Mach-E does use a little bit of an unconventional sort of door handle situation. We actually do have a electronic release here on the door. There's a little button that you push, and then you're meant to sort of just grab this handle here and flip the door open. Now the rear has a little bit of a different situation, but I'll certainly explain that when we get to the rear portion. But if we take a look at the seats, now Ford does use a completely different design and sort of functionality for these seats on the GT model, that is. They are more supportive, and they're more heavily bolstered than the non-GT models. We have nice shoulder support here, but they are still very, very comfortable. Ford does use a sort of Alcantara suede material here in the middle. Again, it keeps you in place a little bit more, but it's very breathable, which is nice, so they use that. They are fully power operated, and they're also heated, both driver and passenger. So again, very, very comfortable, supportive seats. If we take a look at the door panel, yeah, nice soft touch leather all throughout, as well as some more of that sort of Alcantara suede material there. Of course, everything's power operated, windows, mirrors, locks, all of that. We do also have 3-way memory that works for the driver's seat. We have all of the lighting controls down here, and there's the GT door sill plate. We do also have the Bang & Olufsen sound system. This is a phenomenal sound system. It's one of the best in the industry. Sounds fantastic. Now if we step inside, take a look at the key fob. So we do have a keyless fob, and that does include the trunk release on there. And push button start. Now being a GT model, it uses the largest 91 kilowatt hour electric battery, and all GT models are all-wheel drive. It uses one electric motor for the rear axle, which is the primary motor, and it uses another motor for the front axle, which is the secondary. Again, it makes this Mach-E GT one of the quickest vehicles that Ford makes. You can see right now we do have just about 100% charge, 320 kilometers of range. Now it is a little bit low because it is quite cold outside. We're about minus 10 degrees, so the computer does automatically compensate for the cold weather, but it will get over 400 kilometers of range on a full charge. Now we can remote start the Mach-E. I guess remote start isn't really the right term as for an electric vehicle, but you can precondition the interior and the battery with the Ford Pass app on your phone. So we do have the ability to hook up this Mach-E through Ford Pass Connect. You can remote start, you can also lock, unlock, use a bunch of other features, check the charge status, all from the Ford Pass app on your phone. But moving on here, we will talk about the steering wheel. So it is leather wrapped and it's also heated. Very, very nice material. It also has some accent stitching there on the inside. We do have the adaptive cruise control system with lane centering. So this Mach-E basically drives itself. We also have the volume buttons down here and also some of the hands-free phone operation. And right here in the middle, taking up quite a bit of real estate on the dash, is the Sync 4A display. This is 15.5-inch from corner to corner, and this is actually the only screen that's available on the Mach-E. Ford actually introduced it on the Mach-E first, and it's used in a couple of other vehicles like the Expedition, the Lightning, but it's here on the Mach-E as well. And it actually just received a little bit of an update, so some of the UI is a little bit different now for to kind of make it a little bit easier to navigate. But we'll start here in the top corner where we have the home button. This will pull up some of the settings, so the menus. So we have radio, phone navigation. We also have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is used wirelessly, so you don't have to worry about fumbling around with a cable or anything like that. It is used wirelessly. We also have charge settings down here, tire pressures, and in the entertainment, this is pretty cool. Ford actually made games for this screen. You actually play games on here, lane change. You can actually, it's a little racing game. You actually use the steering wheel to kind of move your little car in the game. It's super cool. It's kind of gimmicky, but it's very, very cool that Ford did that. So we have little games you can do if you're, waiting for something. You have something to do. Up here, these are your controls and your settings for your vehicle. So you have different drive modes you can do. You have one pedal drive, auto holds, that kind of thing. You also have all the driver assistance features, vehicle settings, software updates, that kind of thing. And up here is the camera system. So we do have the rear view camera right here, as well as the parking sensors that will light up if you're getting close to something. And the bottom section of the screen is designated to the climate control. So it is dual zone, and it does have the automatic function, so you can kind of just set it and forget it. You also have the heated seat controls, which is right here, and heated steering wheel. And you can use this dial here to adjust the heated seat controls. So it's kind of dual purpose. This is the volume knob. It also acts as the fan speed. It kind of changes on the control of what it does based on what screen you're in. We do also have SiriusXM satellite radio, which has come with a trial from us as well. So that's definitely nice. There's a lot of information in the screen. We could talk about this for a long, long time, but is the main interface for the Mach-E. The screen here in front of us is not actually configurable. It just what it's displayed now is what it says all the time. It does change a little bit of the design based on the drive mode, but you can't actually configure this. This is what it will display all the time. Down here we do have a wireless charger, which is nice to have, especially if you have the wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So you have wireless everything. You don't have to worry about cables, but you can plug your phone in still. You have USB-A and also C down there. You do have the transmission selector right here, park assist, and also the parking brake right there. Now the rear door, again, is a little bit different, as I sort of briefly mentioned before. We still have that button, but there is no handle here to access the rear door. You're actually just meant to just grab the end of the door here. Now Ford did actually engineer a little bit of a safety mechanism. If you have your hand in here, you actually can't push it closed again. They have a little release in here that prevents the door from actually closing back on itself. So a little bit of a safety mechanism there. But they do line this with rubber to prevent you from scratching the inside of it. But again, this similar design with the front seats. They're not quite as heavily bolstered, but we do have that Alcantara sort of suede material in the middle. Nice sort of design here with the middle of the seat. We do also have a center armrest, which we can flip down here to access some cup holders. And we do have some USB connectors back here so we can keep everything charged up. Now, a benefit of an electric vehicle, it doesn't have the same powertrain as a gas vehicle. So we can actually have a flat floor back here. Typically, you would have a little center sort of transmission hump here in the middle, but it's completely flat. So that's definitely a little bit of a benefit, especially if you're stuck in the middle back here. You can have a little bit more leg room. We will show you the trunk area, one of the trunks, because there are two trunks. This is the main trunk. We have the rear trunk, like you would find on basically every vehicle. Lots of space back here. We do have a little bit of a coupe design with the Mach-E, so you do have a little bit of a sloped angle here, but you get lots of space back here. You also have a 12-volt connector, so you can plug in maybe a little cooler or something like that. You also have the subwoofer for that Bang & Olufsen sound system, and you can also fold the rear seats fully flat, so you have even more space back here if you might need it. And we also do have a little privacy cover right here. Close that up. I will show you the front trunk. So we do have a release right here. You pull it twice, so it's a little bit of a safety mechanism there. You pull it twice, and we can actually just easily open this up. It is on struts, so it does stay up by itself. Now this is the front trunk. This is all additional space that you wouldn't typically find on a gas vehicle. So this is definitely nice to have some additional storage up here. So you have both the front trunk and also, of course, your main rear trunk. So if you're interested in this particular Mach-E GT, it is for sale here at McPhee Ford. So feel free to give us a call, or you can visit us at mcpheeford.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.